employees. You don't want to discriminate against certain employees because essentially that is discrimination. And, to be honest, through that last part of that year, my morale was horrible. And maybe I should have taken things and done things a little bit differently and been more, communicated better. But it was honestly devastating. It was devastating coming into an employee every year or every day that, I had basically dedicated my entire, life to. Because I put my heart and my soul into my job.
Sure.
So when you go in and you feel like that same employer doesn't value you the same that they do other employees, especially when it's something as simple as just a policy, type issue, I mean, it hurts your morale.
And I'm sure, now correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm putting words in your mouth, but obviously this to you is an issue of civil rights and equality. But, to simplify things a little bit, Kat, I'm sure it wasn't that as well. It was just an issue of practicality. You have a partner. You are every bit as committed to this partner as any heterosexual married couple out there. She lost her health care insurance. Regardless of where we stand on the issue of gay marriage and civil rights, there's going to be a lot of differing opinions about that. But I'm just trying to make sure that my partner has some coverage. I mean, for you, I'm sure, first and foremost, it was just a practical issue.
Yes, yeah, you nailed it. I mean, here's the thing. The equitable treatment of people, human beings, it is not a political vehicle that needs to be used to gain or lose votes. It's not a conservative issue. It's not a liberal debate. It's not a moral debate. It's a human equality issue. The city and their movement, this is not some huge, big, gay, radical movement. This is simply just the equal rights of human beings and just treating people fairly. That's all it is.
And I've spoken, I forget actually the name of the gentleman, but I had at least one or two people from the Collegedale City Commission on my show back at the time where they made this decision. And, of course, they pointed out to me, when you're talking about the City Commission there, you are talking about a lot of very religious people, politically conservative people. I told them, and I still feel this way, I commend them. I think it's amazing that they put aside some of their political ideologies, their own personal differences, and they just voted on this as a city matter. Now, when you were going through the process with them, when did you kind of see the tide start to change?
Honestly, I never saw tides change. It always felt like as soon as the commission got kind of wind of what was going on, it seemed that they were kind of appalled that they weren't included in the decision, and they wanted to be included in the decision because it was very clear at that point the city wanted to make sure that all their employees are treated equally.
When I've had this conversation, I've had Chris Anderson into the studio, who I know you're friendly with, and he's the city councilor who is spearheading this effort in Chattanooga. I'm also very good friends with Larry Groen. We've had City Councilor Groen in here, and he does not support this. He does not support gay marriage. He does not support the idea of same-sex benefits. I know we've already had this conversation, Kat. I know to you it's more an issue of practicality. It's less of this big grandstanding issue about the politics of civil rights. But I do know that Larry and many people who are opposed to this, they make the argument that gay rights, no matter what you think, is not a matter of civil rights. Not in the sense that for African Americans, for women, for minorities, because their argument is you weren't born that way, you choose to be gay. I don't know if you have feelings on this. I completely disagree with that. I view gay rights as an issue of civil rights.
Oh, absolutely. It is definitely a civil rights issue. And a lot of times when I get into that debate with somebody, I like to ask people, well, let me ask you this. When did you decide to be heterosexual? When did you make the cognitive decision that you were straight or you were gay? Now, I'm not saying that everybody who is gay or straight doesn't make the decision to be that way. I think there are some types of environmental, situations that may cause somebody to go one way or the other. But typically, I really do feel like people are born one way or the other. I did not choose to be a gay woman any more than someone chose to be a black person. It's that simple.
Well, the argument that I have made, because I have many, many close friends and family members who are gay, and in the case of a lot of these people, you go back, I love these people, very close with them. I've been around them my whole life. You go back to the very earliest stages of their life, and they were they were identifying with this side of themselves. And getting back to what you were saying, when you look at me, I'm a straight man. Now, when I was a 5-year-old boy and I'm playing football with the rest of the boys, and then I start to develop crushes on girls, and I'm playing with Tonka trucks and doing all of this stuff that you associate with a manly man, I mean, I was not doing that as a 6-year-old boy because I was making a conscious decision to be a manly man. I was doing what came naturally to me. You know?
Absolutely, and you're nailing it. It's not like you wake up and you say, oh, I'm going to act this certain way, I'm going to have this type of mannerisms because that looks gay and I want to act gay.
Right.
It's like somebody doesn't wake up and say, oh, I'm going to act or do this thing because, you know, that looks straight. You are what you are.
How has I know there was also a big story in the newspaper about the situation with your family's church. How has that situation played out?
Well, obviously, my family was just fellows from Ridgedale, and, you know, that was such an eye-opening experience for me. And I will be the first to admit that I personally had some very wrong views of a big portion of our community. Watching and seeing our communities just outcry and outrage of that congregation's behavior, it definitely changed my perspective. Those, you know, I've had so many people come to me, and they, you know, and even churches that have wrote me, literally, you know, over these past few months, I've had over 500 letters sent to me of individuals, you know, reconciling faith, sexuality, discrimination, and oppression and hurt, even thoughts of suicide. And some of those letters have been from congregations and people who coin themselves as true Christians.
Yeah.
And they're literally, they're angered because they feel like that stereotype them or lump them into that category where all people feel Christians, you know, are bigots or they discriminate or they're not accepting, you know, and that is not the case at all. So, you know, in these past few city council meetings, you know, I've witnessed more demoralizing and offensive words being spouted out. And ironically, you know, they're coming from the individuals who coin themselves as Christians.
Yeah.
It really seems like at this point they're trying to mask, you know, modern day hate and racism and bigotry just behind a few plucked verses, you know, simultaneously, you know, that they excuse themselves from, that they don't even hold themselves to. But then again, you come to the bigger issue of the fact that we have separation of church and state. Yeah,
yeah. Well, listen, Kat Cooper, I appreciate your time, and I believe you will be speaking tonight at the public hearing?
Yes, I will.
Okay. Now, what do you, I mean, I know it's out of your hands altogether, but what do you expect to happen in Chattanooga?
You know, I honestly feel like Chattanooga doesn't really have a choice. You know, we have to think about attracting the sharpest minds and the most capable individuals to our city. We really cannot afford to be coined as a city that doesn't, at minimum, at least treat their employees fairly.
Kat Cooper, I appreciate your time, and good luck tonight.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right. 267-1023, toll free, 888-779-8255. That is Kat Cooper, Collegedale police detective, who, of course, spearheaded the efforts for same-sex benefits in Collegedale. She will be one of the people who is speaking at the public hearing this afternoon. It's at 3:30 p.m. at the City Council chambers. If you would like to attend, it is open to the public. You can get up and speak. Of course, there is allotted time slots, and everybody has a time limit, but it is open to the public. So that's this afternoon at 3:30 p.m. 267-1023, toll free, 888-779-8255. New study says firstborn children are smarter than their siblings. That's bad news for me because I was not the firstborn in my family. I'll be right back. Hold tight. Talk Radio 102.3.
Live and local on 102.3.
This is Titans Radio in Metro Chattanooga. WGOW AM, WGOW FM.
Ranger Station.
Hi, I want to report a bear sighting.
Location.
My front door. It was Smokey Bear. My husband was burning leaves in the yard. He just came inside for a second.
Never leave a fire unattended. If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave.
Smokey said that too.
We go way back. I know, when he was just a cub.
How cute.
If you see someone in danger of starting a wildfire, step in and make a difference. Brought to you by Smokey Bear, the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council. Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
The advice you get for growing your business probably sounds something like
Our
this.
lead generation system will have optimization of the tipping point occur. Our proven system. You need to hire more. Using our patented direct full-page ads will get your business noticed.
Wouldn't you prefer something simple, low cost, easy to understand, that you can do on your own to actually grow your business today? Well, CumulusRadio.com has something you should take a look at. A free newsletter for business owners like you, who just like a couple of good ideas every now and then to help them win just a little more often.